to show you how I did my Leeloo makeup and made my costume. First, I start with foundation. The foundation I'm using is slightly lighter than my skin tone because my face has been getting a bit sunburnt, but that's fine because we can correct the color later. I apply it thinly to keep it somewhat natural looking and not too cakey, but I also spread it on evenly to try to erase my natural features. I add some Elmer's glue stick to my eyebrows and let it dry to hold down the hair so I can apply some foundation to it later. Then I apply a lot of foundation to the eyebrows to try to lighten them. I also use a powder foundation to make it thicker and build it up. Then I add another layer of the liquid foundation. I also brighten around my eyes with thicker foundation to make them appear brighter and less deep set. I dust over some Bare Minerals powder foundation to even everything out. Then I use a bronzing powder to add some color back into my face. Then I use an e.l.f. eyeshadow in beige colors to add shadows and to contour my face. I start by shading over my nose under my brow bone because Leeloo has a more prominent brow bone. I also contour the sides of my nose to make it look slimmer on the top, but also wider on the bridge. Then I highlight down the center with an off-white powder. Her nose is very unique shape, so I recommend looking at reference photos. I also continue the highlight all the way down to the tip and draw a little crease at the tip with a light brown liner pencil. Next, I use the beige eyeshadow to define my Cupid's bow dimple, and I define it even more by highlighting the edges of it. I use Outlast lip stain in a natural pinky color to overdraw my upper lip and my bottom lip. Leeloo has very pouty lips, so I try to recreate that without overdrawing too much. Then I fill in the lips with a lip liner pencil. Next, I use Surreal Makeup Lip Gloss to add some shine to my lips. To take this look to the next level, I put these contacts in from Uniqso in a natural green color. I'll add a link in the description. Then I fill in my eyebrows with a pale orangey brown eyeshadow. I use a little brush and an off-white powder to highlight my brow bone under my eyebrow and clean them up a bit. I also use a light brown eyeliner pencil to line my lower lash line. Then I use a dark brown liner pencil to line my upper lash line. Then I use a warm brown eyeshadow over my eyelid to make it pop out less and create a shadow. And I drag it to the end of my eyebrow without touching my eyebrow. Then I take this black liquid eyeliner from Uniqso and line my upper lash line and draw a slight wing. Next, I curl my eyelashes and coat them in mascara. Now I'm going to put my hair up in the wig before finishing the makeup. To put my hair up, I separate it in the middle and wrap it around my head in opposite directions. Then I pin it in place and put on 2 wig caps. This is actually a cheap blonde wig from eBay that I got and completely restyled and painted it. I'll show you how I did that later in the video. To make it look even more natural, I glue it to the sides of my face and to my neck so you can't see the hair underneath. I add a little more definition to my mouth by taking the dark brown liner pencil and dotting the corners of my lips. If you plan to do Leeloo's thermal bandage costume, then you can leave the makeup more natural looking like this. but I'm going to do the costume with the suspenders and want to do her more dramatic makeup look. I use an eyeshadow from Surreal Makeup in the shade Torch and apply it to my upper eyelid and a teeny bit under my eye. Then I take a black eyeliner and tightline my lower lash line. I also add more eyeliner to the upper lash line and extend it a bit at the end. Then I add more mascara to the top and bottom lashes. Next I take the warm brown eyeliner pencil and draw on really thin eyebrows with a slight curve. Then I use this warm pink blush color from my Sedona Lace palette, and I apply it to the apples of my cheeks and dust it over my nose. And that's pretty much it for the makeup! Now I'm going to show you how I did the wig. Since this wig didn't really have a defined part, I cut off some chunks of the hair at the base to help thin the wig out and use them to create this part. To do this, I take a chunk of hair, cut a really flat edge, and apply hot glue to the end of it. Then I press the glue to the wig where I want to create a part. And I separate the hair down the middle and take a flat edge tool and dip it in water and press down the hair to create a part. When I'm happy with the part, I start separating the bangs and teasing them to make them easier to work with and more accurate to the hairstyle I'm recreating. Then I take a flat iron on medium or low heat and a spray bottle full of water and start dampening the hair with my spray bottle. After I dampen a section of hair, I twist it and then take my flat iron and press it over the hair while sliding it down to hold the twist. I continue this process all over the wig. Once I'm done making the little twist, I start trimming the bangs. Leeloo has really short, choppy bangs, so you don't have to worry too much about messing up. Once I'm done trimming the bangs, I move on to the rest of the hair. I start by cutting off a few inches, then I work my way up. Be careful, because if you cut it too long, you can always cut off more later, but if you cut it too short, there's not much you can do. Next, I mix acrylic craft paints to the desired color, which is a bright orange, and I lightly spray the hair with some water and begin applying the paint to the hair. Try to be thorough with each strand of hair and use your brush to really work it into the synthetic fibers. A synthetic wig won't absorb the color, so you're mainly just focusing on coating the hair. Also, when painting this wig, remember Leeloo's roots show up and they are a light yellowy blonde, so don't paint all the way to the roots. It also helps to use a soft bristle brush to really work the paint into the hair and make sure it's all coated. As you can see, it's already making a dramatic difference in the color. I'm also going to mention that I recommend only painting lighter wigs darker color and not the other way around. If you brush out any twist, don't worry, you can always just go back and retwist it while it's still damp. Once it's dry, the hair will get stiffer, especially when the paint is applied very thickly. But that doesn't really matter with cosplay wigs, because half the time they are styled with a strong spray glue or styling gels anyway, so lots of movement isn't an issue. I personally prefer painting all my wigs because this helps them hold their shape and not get messed up as easily throughout the day at a convention. Now that I'm done with the wig, I'm going to show you how to do the rest of the costume. First, I'll start with the shirt. I got the shirt from a thrift store and it's really oversized and it kind of fits me like a loose sweater, but that's okay because it has a nice vertical striped texture on it, so I will mainly just use it for the fabric. I start by cutting off the sleeves. Then I cut open the seams down the sides. Then I drape it over myself inside out and begin pinning it to fit my body. Since the sleeves are oversized enough, I was able to use the wrist of the sleeve for my upper arm. So I cut it in an angle at the end. Next, I took some chalk and traced around my shoulder so I would know where the seam would be for the sleeve. Then I slide on the sleeve to make sure it will fit. Then I take off the shirt, fold the sleeve inside out, and pin it to the shirt. Then I sew it all together. After that, I cut off all the excess fabric. Then I fold the bottom of the shirt, pin it down, and sew it to finish it. Next, I'm going to show you how I did the pants. You can either get a golden stretchy fabric and sew a simple legging pattern, or you can look at local thrift shops or eBay and Amazon for gold leggings. I use thin black elastic bands and pin them carefully to the leggings in the desired areas. Then even more carefully, I sew them down with my sewing machine. Be sure to use a stretch stitch, and if you don't have that option, use a zigzag stitch. For the belt, I just cut a strip of craft foam, then I covered it in black fabric and sewed it down. To make the buckle, all I did was cut some pieces of popsicle sticks, glue them to poster board in the desired shape, then coat them in Mod Podge and gold paint. Then you can just glue it to the belt. To attach the belt and keep it from moving around and needing to be adjusted, I sewed Velcro to the pants, as well as to the inside of the belt, to the front and back. I also sewed Velcro to the ends of the belt so it could close. And now it's not going anywhere. These suspenders were made by Courtney Leigh Creations. I considered making them myself out of various materials, but I decided to let a professional make them properly. Ultimately, it cost me a lot less time and money to buy them from an artist that was already experienced in making them. I searched all over the internet to find really good ones, and these suspenders were definitely the best out there. I am so happy with the quality of them, and they are super comfortable and so well made. I had absolutely no complaints and highly recommend you check out her website. I also recommend you check out her social media pages because she is just an incredibly talented cosplayer and deserves way more recognition. I will add her links in the description. Probably the most important part of the costume is the MultiPass. First, I took a headshot as Leeloo with a black background and a black shirt with the camera set to flash to match how Leeloo's picture looked on her MultiPass. Then I used Photoshop to crop it and fit it to the MultiPass template. I added a link to the template in the description. I also used that same picture inverted, then add a yellow bar behind my head and crop it as well to fit the MultiPass. Then I printed it out and cut a piece of poster board in the right size. Then I glued them together with an Elmer's glue stick. Then I covered it in clear packaging tape to make it more durable to things like dirt and sweat. I also found this MultiPass frame on Etsy for like $5. It's 3D printed, and I'm sure you could also find files online if you have a 3D printer. It was 3D printed in a dark gray color, so I just took a silver paint marker and highlighted the edges and blended it in with my finger. When I was done with that, I added the other colors like the red, white, and yellow little details. Then I just slid in the paper pass, and this is how it looks. I found these boots for really cheap at the thrift store and was actually really happy with how they looked and how they fit. And no one else seemed to notice or mind that they weren't 100% accurate when I wore this costume, so I wouldn't worry too much about the shoes. Any black combat boots should work. And that's pretty much it! I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. Leeloo is a super fun character to be and a very comfortable costume to wear to conventions. When I made this costume, I probably wore it to at least 5 conventions in a row because I just enjoyed it so much. Huge shout out to Surreal Makeup and another huge shout out to Courtney Leigh Creations for creating these perfect suspenders. I also really want to thank my patrons for supporting my work so I can keep making these tutorials for the cosplay community. Please check it out if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. I'll add all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye!